guys, this is the game plan. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Rico.
And today we're going to be talking about our top games and each player count.
Yes.
So 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 plus.
Yeah, kind of lumping them all together once it gets that large. Because I'm trying to think of a game that plays that I love at 6.
But you just hate at 7.
Or or a game that plays that I love at 7 that I don't also love at 6.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like that. And to be clear, these aren't games that are necessarily like 2-player only, 3-player only. So you might see a 2 to 6 player game as our best 2-player game, something like that. So
it's what we like the best
with that player
count.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
all right.
Let's do it.
Get on it.
2-player. Go for it.
Okay, my favorite 2-player game, and I don't know if this is going to be a surprise, but it's Grand Austria Hotel.
Not a surprise.
Yeah.
It was going to be between one or another.
Grand Austria Hotel plays up to 4.
Yes.
But it's terrible at 4.
Yes.
Because it does the
snake draft.
So the one person goes, and the second, then the third, then the fourth goes again, then the third, then the second, then the first. So if you're the first player, you go first and then 8th. So you can go take a nap.
Yeah.
And then come back and it's still not your turn.
And it's a little bit of a grindy, thinky game, so each turn can...
Yeah, people are like, should I do this or should I do this? And then it takes a while, and then... So I've never played it at 4, but I would never play it at 4.
We learned it at 3, and it was okay. And I would play at 3 for like a teaching game. Like if people were interested to play, and there were 2 people, and I'm like, yeah, this is a great game. I'll teach you guys with 3. But to ever just like to play for enjoyment...
2. Best at 2.
And if there were 3 people who said we'd like to learn how to play, I'd say you 3 can play. I'll teach you, and I'll go play something else.
Yeah, you get them going, and then go play something else.
So.
Yeah.
But good choice. Very very good game.
Thank you.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, it's a really good game.
Yeah.
Don't get us wrong, but it's best with 2.
With 2,
and it's okay with 3.
It sings at 2, man.
Yeah, it really does.
The way that you draft your dice. We didn't even talk about the game itself.
No, we didn't at all.
You essentially roll dice. You have that kind of random setup, and then you align them based off of the numbers that are on them, and then the amount of die of any particular number. So if there were say 3 dice with 5 pips on them, that means you take one of the 5s on your turn, and you get to take 3 of the action for 5.
Yeah.
And some of them have some choices, but then you're essentially trying to get guests into your hotel, fulfill their needs in the cafe, and then prepare a room for them, and then put them into that room, and then each guest will give you little bonuses depending on how they play.
And the rooms have little like lines around them, so if you have like this L of rooms full, you get this bonus.
Yeah.
And
they're colored, so like the reds are grouped.
Yeah.
And there's 2 sides to the player board. So one side is that everybody plays with the exact same layout in the hotel, and the other side is they're a varying layout. Yeah.
And then the guests have color-coded rooms that they have to go to. So you have to have that color room available in order to put that guest in it. And sometimes it gets a little iffy.
Yeah. And you feed them coffees and snacks.
Coffee and wine and cake and strudel. And it's really fun. It's a great game.
It is.
And the art's fantastic. So, okay. So that was my 2-player game.
All right. My favorite 2-player game is Great Western Trail.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was kind of the which one do I choose, Grand Austria or Great Western Trail? And Great Western Trail, fantastic 2-player. I think, again, it's one of those that I actually enjoy at all player counts, 2, 3, 4. Fantastic game. I'll play it anytime. But 2, there's something about it. It's probably my favorite at 2. It plays so quickly. It all it does really is reduce the amount of workers that you can put into the pool of. So when you're playing, you have these workers that you can purchase to play onto your board that allow for better actions when you take them, and all they do for like different player count is just there's fewer of those people to hire throughout the game, and essentially how they come out is the timer for the game, and so they just come out quicker, and the game just ends shorter, and it just feels so good at 2.
And when the 2 of us play and we know exactly how to play it, like we don't even get the rules out anymore. It is like 45 minutes because we're just like, okay, I want to do this, then I want to do this, then I want to do this. It's like it just go.
Yeah, it plays so fast.
It's really good.
And to get that much of a game, for those of you who've played Great Western Trail know, to get that much of a game in 45 minutes is awesome.
Yes, it really is.
Awesome. There's maybe, there's not. There's a deserving game that could be on a list like this that I won't mention now,
Okay.
but I'm guessing it might be mentioned later by someone else. That kind of falls into the same, like, it can just sing if it's right. So.
Okay, I don't know what he's talking about either, guys, but we'll figure it out eventually. So that was the 2-player count.
Yeah, so moving on to 3 players.
3 players, sorry, my phone.
This one was, I'll just say, it was particularly difficult for me to identify a game that really spoke to me at 3-player. I realized that that's not a player count, first of all, that I play with often.
Yeah, we don't usually play with just one other person.
Yeah, it's usually...
every once in a while.
It's usually 2 or 4. And I would say, or more.
Yeah.
3 is rare.
It is rare.
We do BG stats, so we keep track of all of our gaming, and I was like, oh, that's a short list.
Well, my favorite 3-player game is Great Western Trail.
Oh, okay. Really?
Because there's for a lot of the same reasons that it's good at 2, it's good at 3.
Yeah.
Because if you have 3 people and you're trying to pick a game, Great Western Trail is going to come into my mind first.
Sure, that makes sense.
Like 2-player, we have like our date night games are Great Western Trail and Grand Austria Hotel, which is why they were on that list for both of us. But if we have 3 players, I'm going to think of that as well.
Sure, that makes sense.
I'm not going to think of Grand Austria Hotel.
Yeah.
I'm going to think of Great Western Trail.
That makes sense.
And it's almost as quick at 3 as it is at 2, but there's less clutter on the board than there is at 4.
Yeah.
Because you put your own buildings out.
Yeah. Tiles.
Linked on the word building.
They're little tiles, but they're buildings. Yeah.
And other people can't stop on those, and if they do, they get like a really like crappy action. So with 4 players, a lot of people are putting those out, and you're just like filling up the board where you can't really do much.
Yeah, because you're limited.
A certain amount of moves.
You get moves on your turn, and from one tile to the next tile is considered one move.
Yeah.
And if you have 3 tiles in between the tile you want to get to, that you have to move through all those. Whereas
and
if
you're trying to get through the whole thing to sell your cows, so it takes a while to get through the whole thing. And so at 3, there's just less clutter.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic pick for 3. I didn't consider it that way because, again, I mentioned I will play Great Western Trail 2 to 4 any day, anytime, but it definitely slogs with 4. I love the game, and I'm going to use the word. That just tells you how much I love the game. I will play it at 4, even though it slogs, and it does.
So that's why I like it at 3.
Yeah, what a good choice. Yeah. What a thoughtful choice. Yeah. I am very impressed. Very well done. Better than mine.
All right. So what's yours?
So the way I found mine was I just looked to see what game I had the most experience with at 3-player, and then I looked to see which one, of the ones that really stood out, like which one I recall playing with 3 players, and it was fun. Because that's really all I had to go on, because we don't play with 3 players. Yeah. So it was Rajas of the Ganges.
Okay. I can see that.
I played that with a few people while you were out of town once, and in 2 different occasions, and then so that ended up being my most 3-play. I taught it to a few people, and that one I recall being quite fun in those particular groups. And I was thinking, was it because of player count? Was it for what reason was it fun? And I think it was that same thing. Like the amount of time it takes to puzzle out what you want, to figure out what you want, to do what you want. There isn't enough that changes between you and the next turn because there's not enough players. And there's enough time for you to think about it that you're not waiting on people. Yeah. And so it seems like as soon as you get done figuring out what you want to do for your next turn, it's your next turn. It kind of felt a little bit like that. Right. And I was like, yeah, that felt pretty good. So I'm going to go with that.
Didn't we learn that at 3? Just us and Paul?
Yeah. Okay. Yep. That was one of them as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good choice.
Yeah. I thought it was But I think maybe if I would have reconsidered Great Western Trail, probably would have been it. But Rajas of the Ganges.
Well, there's the good 3-player games.
Yes.
Both are good. Yeah. Okay. So we move on to 4?
4-player. Let's do it.
My favorite 4-player game, and there's a lot of these, but this one kind of, I guess, in the moment stood out the most, is Dinosaur Island.
Interesting. Okay.
I really like it at 4.
Okay.
I think there's enough. I mean, there's not a whole lot of interaction in that game, so it doesn't really slow it down or anything. And it's just fun to see like what people draw and where people put their stuff and how many of the hooligans they get when they draw. And if you have more people and you're the last one to draw, it's a better chance that you're going to get a hooligan.
Yeah,
like,
that's
it's
I was going to say.
like,
The angst,
yeah.
the angst that you get when you know you're going to be. So the turn order is based off of how much excitement you have in your park. So the person who has the lowest excitement gets to go first, and then the person who's basically, it's a catch-up mechanism. Whoever's doing the best goes last, and so you have this angst as people are pulling things out. You're noting.
They're not getting hooligans.
There's not a whole lot of hooligans out there, so they're still in the bag. And those are the guys who sneak into your park. They don't get eaten first. They don't pay you anything. They don't nothing. They suck.
Yeah. So it's just kind of that anticipation with 4 players is a little higher.
Yeah.
So
good. Yeah. Good call. Good call. So my 4-player game, I did think long and hard on this because I don't like to just default to this game, and that game is Scythe. It's my favorite game of all time by a wide margin, really, and it plays 2 to 6, and so I could argue that any of these player counts I could have chosen Scythe, and that's not necessarily true. We've played it once at 2, and I thought it was quite good, and 3 is okay, and it's just as good to me. 5 is good, 6 is too crowded.
Yeah.
5 is tight, but it's good, but 4.
4, it's really good.
I just feel like I'm not that confrontational of a player,
right?
And most of the people we play with are not that confrontational.
Correct.
But there are some.
There's some times where there's going to be some.
You need to get in there. I need to get that thing. You're standing in the way.
Yeah. Get the heck out of the factory.
It's going to happen, and when in a 4-player game, those opportunities arise easier, but are not as forced as say in a 5 or 6-player game, and so to me, it's that perfect balance of ability to explore everything in the game, not just explore the territories, but like strategies, and you can try a lot of different stuff. It's tight enough that there's things to think about, but it's not so tight that you're restricted and say, oh, what I normally would have had these 3 options, now I only have really one good one. It doesn't do that. So I really do think that 4 is the perfect spot for Scythe.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good choice.
I recommended it 4.
I knew it was going to be on there somewhere.
That's what I like. I didn't want.
Yeah. But it's your favorite game. You can put it on.
I know, but I don't want to always put it on every list. They're like, "What's your favorite drafting game?" Scythe. There's no drafting inside. Whatever. Shut up.
It's my favorite game. Okay, so are we moving on to 5 players?
Sorry. Yes. I'm done.
You're done singing the praises of Scythe?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm surprised that you didn't automatically know that this was going to be my 5-player choice.
Okay, so this is where I'm a little concerned because I struggled a little bit with 5, not as much as 3, but a little bit with 5. And she's like, I have an obvious choice, and I'm thinking,
clearly,
what did I miss? Go ahead.
Energy Empire.
And that's what I thought you were going to say, and I almost did, and I'll tell you why I didn't.
Okay, I'm going to tell you why I did.
Yeah. This is the one that I was saying it can sing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you have 5 people who know how to play the game,
yes,
it is so fast and so exciting, and I love. So there's one part of the game that I'm obsessed with, and that's the UN track. And so I want to get up on that because on the last spot on the UN track, only one person can have it. So I want to run and do that as fast as I can. And with 5 players, you have to really concentrate on it. And I just think it's so much fun to play with 4 other people who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because it is just so fast, and you're just go, go, go. Because you take your turn on the board, and then you have your tableau. And so everybody plays to the board before they play to their tableau. So you play to the board, you figure out what you're going to do on your tableau, and the next person's going to the board, and they're doing their tableau, and that next person's going. And it can just be so fast. And I think it's amazing as long as everybody knows what they're doing.
Yeah. And that was the reason why I didn't put it as mine.
Because if somebody doesn't know what they're doing, they can get super confused, and it's like a train. It just everything just backs up to that person.
Yeah. And
then if that was me, I would be so stressed out about it, and I wouldn't enjoy the game. Yeah. So if 5 players know what they're doing, best game.
Best game. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And that exactly why I didn't put it.
There's that caveat.
But when that happens, it's still fun. I enjoy that game enough that even if there is that slowdown that happens because someone's new to the game or whatever, I can still enjoy it. It's fine. But it doesn't just shine.
Yeah.
But when it shines, that game shines.
Such a good game.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite game, and it's usually on all my lists. So that's my side.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Good. And
Okay.
That's why I thought it was going to be on, because that is a game that is notorious for having that just.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Thank you.
Good choice. So my number 5, and it took me a little bit of thought thinking, what games have I experienced that when I play with 5, I recall those particular experiences as standing out as being quite fun, and I went with Power Grid.
Power Grid's a good one.
Power Grid scales really well.
It really does.
I think it plays fun with 2 all the way to 6 even. The only problem is at 6, I think it just takes too long for what it is. I love the game, and so when I say what it is, it sounds so demeaning. I love the game, but it's not. It is the antithesis of Energy Empire in that there is not the opportunity to do your thing while other people are doing their things. You really do rely on what other people have changed the state of the board between your turns, so you can't think that far ahead.
It's really hard to plan ahead in that game.
But this is why I say it works. So somebody would immediately think, oh my God, well then why wouldn't you want to just play with 2 or 3? Why 5? Because anytime after say 2 or 3, it doesn't matter how many more people, because you can think ahead. So as an example, the reason I'm saying this is there are territories on the map that people are trying to acquire, but then you start to overlap during certain periods of the time where you can coexist with other people, but only under certain circumstances. And as you're approaching that, you can plan ahead as you're going, but you have to wait for the actions of key people or key positions. Okay, so those key points, people, positions that you have to wait for do not scale with the number of players, because it's a 2D map, so you put 5 more people over here, it's not going to impact what you're doing over here, really.
Right.
But they do impact you by what's happening up in the bidding section.
Yes, and in the resources section.
But again, it's the same. There's only so many pivots that can happen, because you know that there's only 2 people who are fighting for resources with you, no matter what many players you have. And so no matter what's going on, you only have to think ahead and worry about 2 intersections with any group of people at any given time at any phase. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
And like I said, I thought about this. Like, it just intersects in such a way that at 5 players, it's great. There's so many different intersections with enough different people that you feel like you're playing with everybody so closely.
Yeah.
I loved my description of that.
I thought it was pretty good. Yes. Awesome. So good. So that's your 5 players.
Yes.
Okay.
Power Grid, my best with 5.
Okay. Now we're going to do 6 plus.
Or not best at 5. My favorite 5 player.
5 player game. Okay. Okay.
Yep. And then 6 plus. 6 plus. Let's do it.
I have 2.
I had 2 as well,
Okay.
but I only went with 1.
Oh, I wrote them both down.
Okay.
I'm not sure about what the box is, but I think you could play Welcome to with 6 people.
You can play with 1, 2, and as many as you want.
But on the box, doesn't it say like
99?
Okay.
It says 99. But you could literally, like, there's been online things where people did it with like 1,000 players.
That's what I was thinking about. Like,
yeah, you can do it with any number of players.
However many number of people are playing, it's not going to change.
And I considered Welcome to for that reason, but I thought it was a cheat for that reason, because it can play with any number of players, and I really do enjoy the game a lot. It's a great game, and I think it's a good choice. But I was like, it's too easy of a choice, so I went with it.
It was my first choice.
Yeah.
And I also think Monikers is good.
Okay. Yeah.
I like that game a lot.
Yeah, Monikers is a good one with that player count. And actually, I think it's a 6 plus I think 6 plus very well, because the more that you get, as long as you can team up correctly, it plays pretty well.
Yeah. So those were my 2.
Good call.
Thank you.
So Welcome to I had considered, and I do like it, but I went
But
with
apparently I'm cheating.
I went with Just One.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just One, to me, so it doesn't obviously play to infinity, but you could,
As long as you have something to write on.
if you have something to write on, you could play with a lot more. I mean, eventually it would just get chaotic, crazy chaotic. But I mean, it's meant to play, I think, up to 7. I could see it going up to 10 really with no trouble. And for those types of games, for me, I don't keep track of the score. I don't care. You're just playing it for the activity part, right?
I think a time limit would be better than a score limit.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to end at like 11 points or something like that.
Yeah, or 13 or something, and how many you got right, and then
we just play till we get tired of it or want some food or something.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that was mine. Like, I just feel like when I have 6 or more people, that one would be the easiest one. Always go, and I really like it.
Yeah.
So.
And depending on the group, it's either that or Monikers to me. That's the 2 games that come out when we have that many people. So, yeah, good choice.
Good call.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, those are it. Let us know in the comments what you guys, do you have any games that really shine for you at a specific player count? Love to hear about it.
Yeah, we like to know. Thanks for watching, guys.
We're going to do the top 2, then the top 4, then the top of each.
Is Tony back there? I really hope that's Tony. Is he in the box?
Oh, jeez, Tony. Tony. You magnificent little man. Tony, I love you. Oh, you're such a sweet man. Oh my God, that was awesome. That was awesome. I wish I would have recorded that. I was like, shit, do we have rats?
Yeah, I know.